Episode of Donia Sports. We're going to do the divisional round predictions after a great week of wildcard round. I can't believe we had some crazy comebacks, crazy upsets. I went 2 for 6. Ty went 3 for 6 with his predictions. But let's go dive into this right now of these playoffs. All right, let's just give a quick recap of this. Let's start with the game that let me see, the Panthers Rams. That game was very competitive. That was a back and forth game. Came down to Matthew Stafford getting the game winning touchdown in that game. But the thing about that game, I gotta say, is the Rams gave the Panthers so many opportunities to choke the game. They gave the Panthers the game pretty much every single time, except that final drive, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was a very respectable fight out of the Panthers. They did beat them a couple weeks ago, but playoff football is a completely different story. And, a lot of people didn't really expect this from this Carolina Panthers team this year. They fought through a lot of adversity, and, you got to give them their props for that game, especially Jalen Coker and Bryce Young, two guys that, have been kind of under the radar recently, especially Jalen Coker. And, he played his ass off, and fortunately they couldn't get the win, but shout out to him and shout out to Bryce Young. Coming off of a year where he got benched, got a phone call from Rod Wave. I want to know what Rod Wave told him to this day. But, Bryce Young has just been tremendously improving recently, and he deserved that fifth-year pickup option that Dan Morgan just did on him.
I actually love that what Dave Temper did. I mean, this team, the future for the Panthers is going to keep going up. And the thing about Bryce Young, this is only the beginning. This is his fourth year, heading into his fifth year, and this is when your fifth year is when you see, can you go win the games pretty much? You earn your second contract for this team. And I think he's going to play his out that year, going to have a phenomenal. You see T-Mac and Coker and the run game. I mean, the run game kind of fell off a little bit, but I think next year I think Rico was kind of a toxic player in the locker room, I feel like, because he seemed like he wanted the ball so much, but Chuba came back because you forget Chuba was the RB1. They extended his contract, and Rico was just there for a 1-year contract, and then Rico kind of fell off in this team, and he wasn't the same player after losing those minutes with Chuba coming back. So that's my big thing. But the defense, I think this defense with Derek Brown and J.C. Horn, J.C. Horn got cooked last game. I mean, it was bad. Michael Jackson was a big thing, if anything, last game, if I had to say.
Yeah, Bryce Young going into his, I believe it's his fourth year. Rico Dowdle too. He had a really good stretch of games. I feel like a lot of teams really didn't know how to figure him out until they did. Mm-hmm. And Chuba coming back and putting up, I think he had 2 touchdowns in that most recent game. So he played a great game. But yeah, I feel like Rico Dowdle could have put some toxic stuff into that locker room. He's one hell of a player. He had one hell of a year too. So shout out him, but I really don't see him re-signing with the Carolina Panthers. He could be talented. I think he had over 1,000 rushing yards this year. So I'm really interested to see where he goes next year.
I'm definitely am too. I mean, he had back-to-back years in 1,000 yards as an undrafted player. So definitely see how that is. But the Rams getting this win, really comfortable fashion, winning by a game-winning touchdown. The other game was, if I'm correct, the Packers and Bears game. It was 21-3. 21-3, okay? I was just at halftime, just chilling at my friends. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be a blowout. The Packers should win. I'm about to go 1-1 today. And then Caleb Williams, Colton Loveland, looked like, if I had to say, Gronk and Brady or Kelsey and Mahomes. That was the unbelievable performance by them two, and I can't believe they still won this game.
Yeah, dude, their young core, especially with Luther Burden emerging recently too. I mean, the Bears have one of, if not the best offensive-minded head coaches. Caleb Williams is starting to emerge as a top, I'd say 7 to 8 quarterback in that range. Could honestly be top 5 going into next season. I really like the McNuggets Swift kind of exchange. We have that kind of Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery look. Ben Johnson really likes those type. Mm-hmm. DJ Moore catching a touchdown. This is an all-around really solid Bears team. The defense is kind of iffy right now, but towards the end of the game, they did their job and they're good enough to hold off the Packers. But the thing about this game, and I don't want to take away anything from the Chicago Bears, but I think if Michael Parsons is playing this game, the Packers will win. And, looking at both scenarios, I feel like Michael Parsons is saving a lot of jobs in this Green Bay front office, especially because I believe they went 0-5 in the stretch of games that he was out since he tore his ACL in the Denver Broncos game.
They went 5 straight losses, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, the Packers are a really talented team still. A lot of excitement to look into next season. You know, you regroup. Maybe Michael Parsons is still on a snap count, but you still have one of the best, if not the best, defensive player in the NFL. And I just think they need to figure out their receiving game. Their rush game is good with Josh Jacobs, but we got to figure that out on the receiving end, though.
I think the thing is kind of interesting was Matthew Golden had his first touchdown in this game, and maybe that boosts his chemistry heading into next year. Um, that's the thing is you drafted a receiver in the first round and you didn't use him that much except one game, hit 144 yards, 150. I don't even know how many yards, but like that was his only game he went off. And then this game against the Bears, he had a touchdown. So, I mean, everyone, the whole receiver core, all Watson, Reed, and Dobbs all had touchdowns. All four of them, the four receivers had a touchdown. And you forget their best receiver Kraft. He got hurt earlier this year towards ACL, so
Yep.
losing him was a big loss. I think injuries kind of ruined this, derailed this Packers season because this Packers team was around there like with 8 wins at one point and looking at the top of the 8-3-1 if I'm correct, and they just straight fell off after that with the injuries coming in.
Yeah, like I said before, you know, there's a lot of excitement to look into next season, but I feel like this offseason you kind of have to regroup everyone and be like, what went wrong? What do we need to fix during the offseason? Does anyone need to be fired? But I think they still have the pieces to contend for Super Bowl, and I was very surprised on how Jordan Love played. Four touchdowns, no interceptions. He played out of his mind, but they really couldn't hold him off. And that one handshake between Ben Johnson and Matt LaFleur, I hope Matt LaFleur stays in Green Bay because that rivalry right now is looking to be really fun for the
I
upcoming
really
future.
am. We're still waiting for the contract situation around. They're still in talks. For the past like 4 days, there still hasn't. It's been stale with the contract
Yeah.
extensions right now. So I hopefully he stays because if he doesn't stay, don't be surprised if Kevin Shikansky is the next head coach of Green Bay. If I wouldn't be surprised right there on that situation. Um,
I would like that, yeah.
but yeah, heading to AFC side now with the 12 o'clock game of Sunday. Last Sunday was the Bills versus Jags. This game I didn't tune into it. So what are your thoughts about this game? If you had to say, I mean,
I just think this was a really good back and forth game. You know, I was surprised at the Jaguars this season, especially with Liam Cohen coming in. You know, he got a lot of hate for leaving the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and taking this Jacksonville Jaguars job. And going into the draft, you know, trading up to number two and getting a guy like Travis Hunter, who's kind of a hybrid type of player, was a very big gamble. And it looks like it's paying off. Even with him being injured this year, this team won 13 games. Trevor Lawrence is starting to play out of his mind. I think Liam Cohen has kind of put the keys in to be able to unlock Trevor Lawrence and his full potential of why they drafted him at number one. But shout out to Josh Allen. You know, he got it done, and he got it done on an away game. This is his first away win in the playoffs in his career, and it's the Bills' first away playoff win in, I believe, 32 years.
since 1992.
Yeah, so yeah, 34 years then. So, I mean, I still think it's the Bills' year unless something happens, but I really liked how the Bills played. And I like how Khalil Shakir stepped up. You know, this receiving core right now is just completely depleted. And, you know, availability is the best ability. And Khalil Shakir showed that. You know, a lot of people say he's not really the sexiest wide receivers Josh Allen's had in his career. You know, we give that to Stephon Diggs. But he did his job. 12 receptions for 82 yards. You know, I think Josh Allen will take that as his wide receiver one.
Definitely. I mean, Josh Allen, that final drive when they were down a little, down by, I believe it was 21 to 24 to 20, driving down that game-winning drive and getting that touchdown, pushing himself in for the game-winning touchdown. And then Trevor Lawrence throwing that pick, first play from scrimmage, and on his quote-unquote final drive was kind of hilarious. So, I mean, Josh Allen, this next game is going to depend on the receivers, and it's going to be him carrying the team again, once again, big time on the road. To say that.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's an award thing right now for his stats, but I think he's still the most valuable player in the NFL.
Definitely is. I mean, that guy is carrying the Bills on his back. It is insane. It gives you vibes of Cam Newton, what he did back in the 2015 season, honestly. That's what it gives me the vibes of.
It really does,
Um,
yeah.
Going to now to the NFC East versus Eagles versus Niners. This game was kind of very sloppy, defensive fest. I mean, both these defenses showed up, locking down offenses, but the Niners got this game pretty much because of the ability of Kevin Patillo can't call plays. It kind of sold the game pretty much. The Niners took away everything in the pass game. Really, I mean, you know what's crazy? They ran 48% of their offensive plays, or 50, I don't even know, was hitches. All hitch routes.
Jeez. Jeez.
And I can't. And the thing is, the defense did the job. Limit CMC in the run game. I mean, he went off in the pass game, and the
Mm.
big factor was the two drives they scored on. The Niners did on the field goal and the touchdown. Especially the first drive was Demarcus Robinson's going off with those crazy catches. If anything, this guy was a big factor in this game with 111 yards, with the touchdown, with 6 catches. This guy was his breakaway speed was insane to keep his team alive in this game, pretty much. And they also losing Kittle is going to be hurtful so bad. But Tongue stepped up a little bit for to say that though.
Yeah, we saw Tung step up at the beginning of the season, so it should become as no surprise that he would step up in a playoff game. And prayers out to George Kittle, but Quinion Mitchell, first team All Pro this year, he looked really lost in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about Kevin Petula is, he was handed Super Bowl winning offense. Players like AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. You have Jalen Hurts at quarterback. Did I mention Saquon Barkley? I don't believe so, but you have all these playmakers and you can't really do anything with them. I just doesn't make sense. And the thing is, this 49ers team was injured as crap. I mean, this 49ers team should have not even sniffed the playoffs.
No.
I think the 49ers could honestly go on a run just thanks to CMC and Kyle Shanahan's ability to be able to kind of unlock the offense. Kyle Shanahan is, in my opinion, the coach of the year only because, like I said, it's not based off of stats. It's just based off of what they are able to do. Like Josh Allen, most valuable player in the NFL. He's not going to get the award this year, obviously. That's Matt Stafford's. But, when these guys be able to do what they're doing in their current situation that they've been put in, it's pretty fantastic to watch.
It is. I mean, I still can't believe like the whole Kyle Shanahan. I mean, this guy finds a way to win without these players, and that's the most shocking thing. They're going to lose Robert Saul. Wouldn't be surprised because that guy has transformed this defense from having no one and have the potential to get Fred Warner back this round or next round, hopefully. But the run of Kyle Shanahan has done this year, not having much players, deserves to be the coach of the year. Because it's kind of like Kevin Stefanski that 1 year did not have a quarterback, and he still won coach of the year in 2022 or 23, if I'm correct, doing that. So he just honestly deserves to win coach of the year with that effort.
Yep.
And it's just
Completely agree.
Philadelphia. It's just I pray this doesn't happen. It's looking like it's going to be Brian Dable right now to be the offensive coordinator. But if they somehow switch to Mike McDaniel, I might just be on suicide watch or something.
Dude, Mike McDaniel would unlock Jalen Hurts to that 2022 level.
He would easily make that offense the best offense because we forget what Mike McDaniel did with Jimmy G. We forget what he did with him. Was one play away from making the NFC champ the Super Bowl if Aaron Donald is not in his face. So,
And they get that one interception too.
the
Remember
one
that.
interception, like the Matthew Stafford threw straight to the defender and it bounces off his chest. Different game right there. So,
Yep.
maybe Philadelphia bounces back, but Niners get this win in a couple crazy fashion. I still can't believe they won it. And going to the night game, let's talk about if man in the Patriots game. Patriots win this game. It was ugly, straight defense. Drake May didn't have only 11 for 14 in the second half. He did terrible in the first half. I mean, it had one touch on the Hunter Henry. That was it. My biggest factor was I am tired of the if man. I am tired of Justin Herbert saying everything has to be perfect for him or they can't win. Everything has to be perfect.
I agree with that, but the problem is you got to give him credit where credit is due. That O line was just completely bad this year. I will say I do feel bad for Justin Herbert because if you look at the PFF grades, and don't take PFF as like the main factor of what you should take, but I mean, these guys all were ranking dead last in what they were in at their respective positions. So, I mean, Justin Herbert, 0-3 in the playoffs. There's kind of been a debate now whether is this guy really a modern day, we'll say like Phillip Rivers. Not even like disrespect to Phillip Rivers because Phillip Rivers had some incredible playoff wins.
14 wins. He was great. It was phenomenal back in the 2000s.
Who could we compare him to? Like, who hasn't?
I saw this thing on ESPN. Quarterbacks have been 0-3 was Matt Ryan, Peyton Manning, and I believe there was another quarterback. I forgot Drew Brees or something like that, or someone else. Okay, there was the 0-3 quarterbacks. But I left on a comment section. I said, you know who's other than if he doesn't win another game, he's up there with Andy Dalton with 0-4.
Wow.
So he could be up with the greats, or he could be at the level of Andy Dalton that can't win a damn playoff game.
Yeah, Andy Dalton was great, but the thing about yeah, you can't put him in a conversation of Matt Ryan or all these other guys. It's like right now, this is a do or die season for the Chargers next year. Getting a new offensive coordinator, Martin Hampton got hurt, and he was one of their best players on offense, I'd say, when he was playing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give the team the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give Justin Herbert the benefit of the doubt, even though I really don't want to. But we'll have to give him another year. If for some reason he does go to the playoffs again, or maybe even misses it, but let's say he does go to the playoffs, gets another loss, first round exit, then conversations will come up and be like, all right, do we move on from this, or do we continue to kind of go in the same cycle of what we've been doing?
I just feel like if he is Andy Dalton, he will never leave. He'll just be there forever until the next great quarterback is available. Or he could be Alex Smith. Jim has history getting rid of quarterbacks. You know that, right? He got rid of Alex Smith in his prime, and then went on to go into Super Bowl with Colin Kaepernick as the backup. So he has history with getting rid of quarterbacks very early. So just don't be surprised if Jim does something again like this. Okay, just he has.
That would be
History.
crazy.
I know. So enough of that. Let's talk about the Monday night game of the debacle of Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin's last game as a Steeler. This Texas defense just suffocated. I mean, it was a mediocre fashion. The Texans offense didn't do anything special. Woody Marks was the big factor in this game. That was it. And Nico Collins did decent, but he got hurt with the concussion. So, Christian Kirk, that was a big factor. Christian Kirk went off. Sorry, I'm not going to pull a damn Stephen A. So,
Yeah, I mean, we got to look at this game as like, this defense is suffocating teams. A lot of people were skeptical about are the Texans a team to be maybe frauds in the first round. And I'll admit it. I believe that I thought they were. I thought this defense, was going to implode. They proved otherwise. The one concern I'm having right now, though, is following these games, what are we going to do with CJ Stroud fumbling problem right now? That's got to pick it up.
Or maybe just not throwing the ball like straight into the defender's hands or making a play out of nothing. Like throw away the ball,
Yes.
take a sack. Like I'm tired of hero ball. You don't need to be hero anymore. Just take the sack or take something without you need or run it yourself. Just something. Keep the play alive. Like just
Yeah, the problem with that too, it's like, when you have these types of defenses, a team can scheme around it. And, your defense can't save you every game. That's been proven in the NFL, especially in the playoffs. Some of these games are really high scoring, tight games, and the most simple mistakes are crucial for every team. I'll give the benefit to them. They played the Steelers, who weren't really the strongest team going into the playoffs. So we'll see how they do against the Patriots this week. I really like their odds, though.
I do too. I really like their odds. So let's just be talking. Let's switch now to the divisional round. Let's start with the 3:30 game on Sunday. You got not Sunday, Saturday. Broncos versus Bills. Bills going into Mile High, one of the toughest places to play in all of football. That altitude is something. Players can't even breathe half the time. So you can start this right here, Ty. What are your? I mean, you picked the Bills to go away, but what are your things heading in this game now?
Heading into this game, Bo Nix has got to get some revenge from last year. He was a rookie, and although I believe he's 25 now, this is a time where it's like you're in your prime, basically. You've had that short time where, guys who are 21 getting drafted kind of have these years to develop. Bo Nix is right now in that win now mode as a quarterback. He's older than, I believe, like CJ Stroud. So CJ Stroud, he may have a year kind of to develop continuing. But Bo Nix, I don't think he can continue to be like, yeah, I'm a development quarterback. Right now is your time to shine. But right now, I think Josh Allen's still looking for blood. I saw a post on TikTok today, and it was talking about Josh Allen's speech about if he'll win a Super Bowl. That kind of fired me up. Even though I'm unfortunately a Jets fan, he kind of destroys my team every year. I feel like this is going to be one of the years that's like special for Josh Allen. especially on a playoff run. Give me the Bills in this one.
I will also take the Bills in this game. I do not trust the Broncos in this game. I think it's going to go down to Bo Nix's incapability to win this game. I think the defense is going to be good, but I think it's going to they're coming off a bye, little rust. This Bills team is red hot right now, trying to build momentum. After the win over the Jags, winning the comfortable
Oh,
fashion, the defense got some turnovers because the defense has been terrible all year, but they got some turnovers in that game against the Jags. So I think this game is going to be led by Josh Allen. Hopefully James Cook can get the run game going. But this game is going to be the cookie game. Keenan Coleman has to show up this game because there's no receivers. Gabe Davis and their other receiver, who number 14, towards ACL also. So both those guys are out in this game. So it's a Shakir and Keenan Coleman game, pretty much, in Brandon Cooks.
yeah, I hate to interrupt. Are you a Dodgers fan? You're still a Dodgers fan.
I am still a Dodgers fan, yes.
Bro, y'all just got Kyle Tucker.
We just got Kyle Tucker. Oh, wow. Oh, my God, our outfield is in. Oh, he's like third base? Is he outfield or third base?
Bro, it's a short-term deal. That's
Short term?
crazy.
Wow. Okay.
That
Wow.
was surprising. I don't want to interrupt, but I felt like that was kind of valid news to where
That
it's
is
like,
valid. Yep, Kyle Tucker. Wow, that is insane. Wasn't there talks about him going to the Mets? Maybe I thought it was
it
going to.
was between it was between the Mets, I thought it was the damn Blue Jays too.
That is insane. Yeah, I thought it was the Mets. I thought the Mets were confirmed to get him after losing Alonso to the what's it called, the Oilers. Orioles. Wow.
Dude, that's ridiculous.
What does that even mean? He's outfield, right field. That is wow. Okay, that's shocking. We'll definitely do some baseball this year. So yes, but let's go back in the NFL.
Back in
Um,
the NFL. I'm sorry about that.
yes, I definitely think it's just his Bo Nix's ability to not make any plays, and I just trust Josh Allen's ability to make some crazy plays over that. So it's going to depend on what defense is going. It really is going to depend what quarterback is going to step up in this game. I have to say.
Yeah, that and the thing about the Broncos is I really do think they are frauds. They've been in a lot of tight games, and I just don't trust it. I really don't.
And teams like that with one score games don't usually go all the way. The only team that went all the way was the Eagles in 2022, and because every game was one score in theirs, but they went
Mhm.
all the way still. But other than that, you look at their stretch. They played the Giants. They played the Brock Purdy, no Brock Purdy 49ers. They played Josh Johnson in that game and CMC at
Yep.
quarterback. So I give them that. That was the only thing. That's their Super Bowl run right there. So yeah, and I mean Jalen Hurts did play great in that Super Bowl, but they still lost. Doesn't matter. But that defense was that whole team was just mediocre at best.
Mm.
And I just this Broncos team, I don't even trust them. I don't. I don't trust the ability. There are too many close games this year, and they're coming back in fashion. I think the Bills get it done, and I think the Jaguars expose them, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's bound to happen. This team, especially off of a bye week, kind of. I don't see them really winning this game.
No. Enough for the AFC. Let's talk about a division round game, the NFC, Sunday night, pretty much. Or Fox is hosting this game, my bad. Saturday night. Seahawks versus 49ers. I'm going to take the 49ers pulling the upset in this game on the road, and I think this defense, I think it's going to be the part of Sam Darnold is going to find a way to choke this game. We forgot, like, the second matchup of these guys, Sam Darnold did not beat this team. It was the defense who beat this team. That was the thing. Brock Purdy's ability to making mistakes, turnovers are happening. They were in the red zone twice. They only got 3 points in that game. That was it. And they didn't even make it across the
Jeez.
field half the time. And the only thing was the interception was in CMC's hands, and he just juggled it, and then they picked it off. And that was a big factor in that game. So I don't even think it's Sam Darnold has been going off against this team. It's just been the defense has just been limiting Brock Purdy's play, if I have to say.
Yeah, I'm
And
gonna go the opposite of this game. However, I think Sam Darnold can get it done, but the one thing that's making me kind of lean towards the Seahawks is the health. This team's healthy. JSN's having one hell of a season. And Lumen Field, that place gets bumping, dude. That place will be loud. It will be cold. And I just don't think the 49ers will be able to handle that in the situation of, how unhealthy they are right now. I just think the Seahawks can get it done.
Where's Richard Sherman and Michael Crabtree when you need them? Where's that?
That's what I'm saying, dude.
This is going to be a toxic environment, and this is going to be a phenomenal game. The environment of playing in Lumen Field is giving you back in the days of Central Link, pretty much when it was the Legion of Boom, and this field's going to
Yep.
be rocking. And I mean, I think it's the not the thing. This is weird stat. Kyle Shanahan has never lost a divisional round, and Brock Purdy has never lost in Lumen Field ever. So they're undefeated in that. And I
Okay.
just think CMC's. I think it's going to be CMC in this game. I think CMC.
Okay.
They took away CMC's running ability, but not the pass ability. No Kittle in this game. It's going to be tough. I think Demarcus Robinson has to know have a great game. I think Ricky is back this game. Ricky's
Yes.
questionable. And then Fred Warner. There's still talks that Fred Warner was in practice today, looking like he was phenomenal over the past 2 days. So if Fred Warner plays this game, that's a big factor right there for the defense, getting your leader on that side.
I don't think he's playing this week, but if they do win, I think he's 100% for next week.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what the reports are saying, I believe.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know. I think this game's going to go down to a one play. Like it's going to be the
Yeah,
final drive.
I think this
It's
is the game of the week.
it definitely is, and it's going to be a damn good game. I have to say. Um, Going to now Sunday, we got the Patriots hosting the Texans. Um, what do you got to say about this game?
The Patriots kind of looked sloppy in that game against the Chargers, and this Texans defense is red hot right now, especially with Will Anderson.
And Deline Hunter,
I
and
want to keep the Patriot. Wait, what were you gonna say?
it's just that defense is mean. It's
Yeah,
mean and mugging with Bullock and how the other corner. And Petrie, just this defense is something else right now.
yeah, and I want to say I want to keep my conference championship picks, but give me the Texans in this one. I think they're ready to take that jump, especially if CJ Stroud kind of picks up where he left in his rookie season and figures it out. And it's like, he's one hell of a football player. I think the Texans can win this game, especially in a environment like Gillette Stadium.
It's just
I just
it's
don't. I just don't trust the Patriots.
this year for the Texans have been record breaking. They had one of their best seasons ever since their 2012 year when they went 12-4, lost to New England in that second round. Um, I mean, they won their first road game in ever in history. I think they go on and make history and win their first AFC divisional round to make their first appearance in the AFC Championship as a franchise since 2002. Something the damn Cowboys can't even do. The damn Texans made you. They took the damn in a championship round before y'all. I still can't believe that. Yeah. But
Hey,
I
don't
have the
forget
Texans.
the Jets did too.
The Jets in 2010. Yeah, 09. Yeah, fuck off. But it's the Texans. I think it's going to the defense, and what Drake May looked like against the Chargers defense with Jesse. What Jesse did kind of expose Drake May. The same. Jesse Mitzert is going to be a head coach in this league, and I think he exposed Drake May's ability and forcing pressure on him because Drake May got sacked 5 times. If the Chargers defense can sack him 5 times, that means the Texas defense can sack him 8 times, in my opinion. And that Texas defense with Delane Hunter and Will Anderson goes after your quarterback. And I don't know how the tackles are going to handle this game against Will Anderson and Hunter because those guys go get it and they go. And if you need to put pressure on Drake May, guess what? You got Singletary and you got Bullock and you got Petrie in the back end, and you still got I forget their other corner always Kaiser or something like that. Like that defense is just locked down. Whew.
Yeah, this is probably one of the best defenses this decade. I just think Drake May's too inexperienced right now and benefited off a really easy schedule. And I just don't think he's seen a defense as like killing as this one. So we'll see. But yeah, I got the Texans in this one.
No. Yeah, I have the Texans also. And let's go to the prime time. Honestly, this game is going to be a highlight game. Give me the Bears in this game. Give me the Bears over the Rams. It's in Chicago. I don't trust LA teams traveling well or West Coast teams traveling in the cold like this. I think the Bears by just dominating the run game because the Panthers kind of exposed them a little bit in the pass game because that defense in the back end was getting exposed. I mean, Bryce Young was making crazy throws with Coker, my bad. Um, if the Rams just don't kill their opponent, I don't think they win this game. They got to somehow kill the Bears, and I think the Bears with Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, and Colson Loveland, I think they're going to find a way to beat this team in the pass game, and I think they're going to win the line of scrimmage like that. And ability right now, they're coming back. Like even if you try your best to beat this Bears team, they find a way always to win, some way somehow. I don't get it, or make it a close game.
Yeah, the Rams have been finding ways to lose this game, while the Bears this year have been finding ways to win games. And I feel like this is kind of a recipe for disaster for the Rams, especially going to Chicago in such a cold and frigid environment, especially around these toxic fans. I wouldn't even say they're toxic; they're just chaotic, and they're chaotic in a good way. They're toxic in a good way. They support their team so much, and this is one of the best fan bases in the NFL. Unfortunately for the Bears right now, I think they're too young and too inexperienced. You can't let Matthew Stafford, coming off of his MVP season, not get a ring, or at least a shot to get a ring of one of the top four teams. So I have the Rams in this one. The reason why I think the Rams will win is because this defense relies on turnovers, and if Matthew Stafford can slice his defense up and throw possibly no turnovers, it could be a blowout.
It could. It could honestly a blow. And if Matthew Stafford has history playing in Chicago, he's played in this cold weather before. It's going to go up to if Matthew Stafford's ability can he not make turnovers? Can he not make mistakes? Because he made a couple mistakes last game after hurting his fingers a little bit in that first half, and he started overthrows, underthrowing in that game, throwing interceptions, two interceptions almost in that game, almost cost the team. But he had that game winning drive. I'll give him that. Don't give Matthew Stafford time. Don't give him ever time. So he finds a way to win. So I think honestly, you got to say that with Caleb Williams now. Don't give Caleb Williams possessions. Don't give him that Ben Johnson offense possession because they'll just how I say it's like a pig at that scoreboard. They will just nibble it every single second and they just chomp at it, pretty much like a shark. So don't give those many possessions. I think it's going to be time. I think who has the more time possession in this game? I think it's going to come down to who has the most time possession.
Yep, completely agree.
Definitely. But yes, those are our predictions and our recap of the wildcard round. Thank you all for joining us for this episode. I can't wait for a great, honestly, divisional round. We'll be doing a college football one soon. Don't worry, probably around Saturday or Friday, if anything, or tomorrow. We'll see. But thank you all for joining this episode of Donia Sports.